Good day to everyone. Welcome to Pilgrim Bible Baptist Theological Seminary. Pangatlo pong lecture sa 1 Timothy, Book of Timothy, chapter 3. So, qualification for leaders, pastoral epistle. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, magandang gabi, magandang araw. Ngayon po ay magpapatuloy tayo sa ating pag-aaral. Bago po tayo magpatuloy, mag-review po tayo ng ating pinag-aralan. Wait lang ano. Okay, let's review. 1 Timothy chapter 1. Pinag-aralan po natin yung fighting for the faith. And remember the context, si young pastor Timothy, pag binasa natin yung verse number 3, hinihikayat siya ni Apostle Pablo na manatili siya sa Ephesus. Kasi sobrang hirap nga ng mga pinagdadaanan niya. So, hindi lang sa mga ugali ng mga members, kundi dun sa mga doktrina na pahalo-halo na nakakapasok sa kanilang simbahan. Then sa chapter 2, balikan po natin, pinag-aralan natin yung instruction for public worship, that we need to pray for all men, specifically sa lahat ng mga leaders ng country sa ating Pilipinas. Okay, sa bansang Pilipinas, ipag-pray yung mga leaders. And today, we will talk about qualification for leaders. Okay, ano po ba yung mga qualification na ibinibigay ng Panginoon sa mga nais magpastor o nais maging manggagawa o deacon ng simbahan? Nagbigay po ang Biblia ng qualifications. So, yung iba, sa ibang mga church, ang kanilang pamamalakad sa simbahan nila ay yung ang mga member. So, halimbawa na wala na yung pastor, ang member ang namimili ng pastor, magbubunotan sila o sino man yung mas mayaman o parang tila bagang sa iba naman, yung pastor ay sinasahuran. Dapat ang nasusunod ay yung board of directors. Pero pag binasa natin yung context ng book of 1 Timothy, sinasabi niya dito ni Apostle Pablo na kung pipili ka ng nais maging pastor, bishop, leader ng church, ito yung qualification. So, Timothy. So, si Timothy yung nakaatas na mag-train. Si Timothy din yung nakaatas na maging dahilan kung sino yung mga swak o qualified sa pagiging leader ng church. Okay. Qualification of a bishop. So, this chapter has 3 sections. Meron pong 3 section ang chapter na to. So, let's look at the outline, qualification for a bishop. And then, verse number 1 to verse number 7. From verse number 8 to verse number 13 is qualification for deacons. Okay, sa mga diakono po. And then, from verse number 14 to verse number 16, 3 verses, napaliwanag ni Apostle Pablo kung ano yung reason niya why he wrote to Timothy, the mystery of godliness. That is the reason of Paul why he wrote, one of the reason why Paul wrote to Timothy. So, 3 sections in this chapter. So, let's begin. Let's dwell in qualification for a bishop. Ano po ba yung mga qualification bilang leader, bilang magpastor o bilang maging elder, shepherds? Introduction to the good work of spiritual leadership. So, in verse number 1, this is a true saying, if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. Okay, again, this is a true saying, if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. What do we mean by this is a true saying? Paul has just written the women are not to hold positions of spiritual or doctrinal authority over congregation. Again, balik tayo sa chapter 2. Sinasabi ni Apostle Pablo na mga kababaihan na hindi sila pwedeng magkaroon ng posisyon sa church, mag-preach, magkaroon ng doctrinal authority over men sa church. But he did not want to leave the impression that just any man is qualified. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin nito ng lahat ng lalaki sa simbahan ay pastor. Dapat magpastor, maging bishop, maging elder. Ay lahat ng lalaki, dahil sila ay lalaki, qualified sila maging pastor. No man is qualified to be a spiritual leader in the church just because of his gender. Hindi ibig sabihin lalaki ka, qualified ka na maging pastor, maging elder, or maging shepherd. If a man desire the office of a bishop, what do we mean by this? Kung sino man yung nagnanais, okay, yung posisyon o yung office ng pagiging pastor ng bishop, he desired a good work. The office Paul described is that of bishop. Now, meron tayong maling prinsipyo o ang culture minold nila kung ano yung bishop, lalo na sa mga Roman Catholic Church. When they say bishop, okay, mas mataas kaysa sa mga priest. But in the New Testament, the word bishop, okay, in Greek is episkopos, literally means overwatcher, okay? So nagtitingin, okay? Or an overseer, yan po ang ibig sabihin ng bishop. These were men with leadership and authority in the church. Ito yung mga lalaki na mayroong authority o leadership, pamamahala sa isang simbahan. Based on what bishop means, a bishop is someone with oversight in the church, namumuno sa isang iglesia. A leader. Such a person may also sometimes be called an elder. So sa New Testament, ginagamit din yung presbyteros, yung bishop, isa sa mga synonym o isa sa mga title ng bishop ay elder or a pastor. Greek word is poimen, which means shepherd. Kaya nga sa ating circle, hindi ibig sabihin ang pastor, technically sa Bible, bishop yan. Elder or shepherd, watch over. So sa ating leadership, hindi ibig sabihin bishop, mas mataas na pastor. O ito nga, isa sa mga masakit sa panahon ngayon, mas kinikilala o mas mataas yung tingin, mas malaki yung paggalang na ibinibigay doon sa may mga maraming titles. Though they deserve it kasi pinag-aralan nila yon. Okay? Yung mga doctor in theology, master in divinity, doctor in divinity. So, they deserve to have that title kasi pinag-aralan niya yun. But, sinasabi ng Bible, it doesn't mean that you are intellectual, marami kang degrees na naabot, you are qualified to be a leader, to be a pastor, a bishop, or under a shepherd. So, in Acts chapter 20, verse number 17, makikita natin dito that there were several bishops, that is overseers in one church in one city. Si Apostle Pablo sa Acts chapter 20, kung babasahin natin, pinatawag niya yung mga bishops, yung mga elders. Okay? Ibig sabihin, okay, may mga pastor na nung panahon ni Apostle Pablo. So, pinag-usapan na lang yung isang matter. So, verse number 2. So, in verse number 1 again, so balikan natin, in verse number 1, he desired a good work. Ito nga, yung hindi ibig sabihin dito na hindi sinabi na Apostle Pablo kay yang Timothy na, ang hanapin mo yung gift, yung maraming talent, yung matalino, okay? O yung ganito. No. Apostle Paul said he desired a good work. It means kung yung sino man, hindi ito sa Tagalog, hindi ibig sabihin nito na gusto mo magpastor? Ba maganda 'yan. Hindi 'yun yung idea ng verse number 1. Ang idea ng verse number 1, gusto mo magpastor? Dapat honorable ka o dapat you desire a good work. You desire yung verse number 2 hanggang verse number 8. You desire that. So though yung isang prinsipyo na gusto magpastor, maganda 'yan. Okay 'yun, pero ang idea ng verse number 1, kung sino man yung mga gustong magpastor, gusto mong maging bishop, he desired a good work. Or he desire yung verse number 2 hanggang verse number 8. So, ano ba yung mga qualification for pastor or for bishop? A bishop then must be, okay, God has a specific qualification for leaders in the church. Leaders are not to be chosen at random. So, hindi bunutan, nor just because they volunteer or kahit ang sama ng ugali, hindi ka dapat magpastor, hindi naman tinawag, nag-volunteer lang, sila na yung magpapastor, nor because they aspire the position, nor even because they are natural leaders. So, meron siyang leadership skill. Maraming mga tao, maraming mga kalalakihan, merong mga leadership skill. Instead, they should be chosen primarily on how they match the qualification listed here. Ang sinasabi na Apostle Pablo kay Timothy, or young Timothy, Pastor Timothy, if you will choose leaders, kung sino man yung magde-desire ng office of a bishop, kung sino man yung magpapastor, okay? they should match the qualification from verse number 2 to verse number 8. The qualification for leadership have nothing to do with giftedness. God doesn't say go out and get the most gifted men. Hindi sinabi ni Lord sa pamamagitan ng Apostle Pablo kung sino yung pinakatalentado, pinaka-gifted sa yung piliin mo. No. So, sa verse number 2, ipapaliwanag dito. Going to seminary doesn't make one qualified for spiritual leadership. Marami akong kilala nagtatapos ng Bible school with honors. Okay? Pero, hindi ibig sabihin nakatapos ka ng Bible school, qualified ka sa position ng pagpapastor. Okay? Siguro meron din kayong mga kilala, no? Being a good talker doesn't mean one qualified for spiritual leadership. Hindi ibig sabihin, ang galing mo magsalita, qualified ka maging pastor. Natural or spiritual gifts in themselves do not qualify one for spiritual leadership. What qualifies man for spiritual leadership is, this is the key word, key phrase, godly character. Yan po ang pamantayan. Godly character. And godly character established according this clear criteria. So, saan ba umiikot yung sinasabi nating pagiging makadiyos na ugali? Umiikot po sa from verse number 2 to verse number 8. So, ang sabi sa verse number 2, a bishop then must be, okay? However, this is not a rigid list which demands perfection in all areas. Hindi naman sinasabi, from verse number 2 to verse number 8, na dapat itong mga qualification na to ay perfect na gagawa niya. Okay? They are both goals to reach for and a general criteria for selection. What do we mean by this? Ito yung tinatawag na, ito yung nais nilang abutin o ninanais na nila nito. Okay? Ito yung gusto nilang mangyari sa kanilang buhay. It is a general criteria for selection. So, pag tinignan natin, pagbabasahin natin mamaya yung mga qualification, lahat naman ng mga Kristiyano ay dapat i-desire yung gantong godly character. When looking for church leaders, one should look at his list and ask, does the man in question desire all these things with his whole heart? So, kung sino man yung magpapastor, ito yung mga list na binigay ni Apostle Pablo, ng Diyos sa pamamagitan ng Apostle Pablo. Ito bang taong to na gusto magpastor ay dinidesire niya wholeheartedly yung mga sinabi ng salita ng Diyos. Okay, again, ulitin ko, hindi sinasabi ni Apostle Pablo, hindi sinasabi ng salita ng Diyos na dapat ganito na sila. Dapat perfecto nila magawa to bago sila magpastor. What Apostle Paul is saying, this man has a desire wholeheartedly na gawin yung mga bagay na to. Number 2 question, does that desire show itself in his life? So, yung desire ba ito? Hanggang desire na lang ba? O talagang nakikita sa kanyang sarili? Number 3 question, are there others available who better fulfill the requirements of this list? Now, let's read verse number 7, from verse number 2 to verse number 7. This is a list of qualification for leaders in the church. So, blameless, a bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of little liquor, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth how well his own house, having his children in subjection in all gravity. For if a man not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Not an obese, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach in the snare of the devil. Ngayon, iisa-isahin natin kung anong ibig sabihin nito. Isa-isahin natin kung ano yung mga nakasulat dito na qualification sa mga nais magpastor at sa mga nais magkaroon ng position o leaders ng simbahan. Basahin natin sa Tagalog. Ang bishop daw walang kapintasan, isa lamang ang asawa, marunong magpigil sa sarili, maingat kagalang-galang, bukas ang tahanan sa iba, at may kakayahang magturo. Hindi siya lasenggo, hindi marahas, kundi mahinahon, hindi mahilig makipag-away at hindi maibigin sa salapi. Dapat mahusay siyang mamahala sa sariling pamilya, ginagalang at sinusunod ang kanyang mga anak, sapagkat paano siya makapapangasiwa ng maayos sa iglesia ng Diyos kung hindi niya maayos ang sarili niyang pamilya? Kailangan siya ay matagal nang mananampalataya sapagkat kung hindi, baka siya ay maging palalo at mapahamak na gaya ng dyablo. Bukod dito, kailangan siya may mabuting patutuo sa paningin ng mga hindi sumasampalataya upang hindi siya mapintasan at hindi mahulog sa bitag ng dyablo. So, mas nakuha natin nung binasa natin ng Tagalog. So, next verse. Next slide. Blameless. So, what do you mean by blameless? This word literally means nothing to take hold upon. Pag sinabi natin blameless in this verse, hindi ibig sabihin walang kasalanan. Okay? We don't believe that. That contradicts the scripture. When we say blameless, nothing to take hold upon. There must be nothing in his life that others can take hold of attack the church. For example, may kaso, okay? Legally sa batas, may kaso sa batas. Okay? Sa batas, nilalabag ang batas o meron siyang kaso. Merong isang ugali, alam mo yun, may mga kasalanan na, o ugali na kahit yung mga unbeliever, maipipinpoint sila o magiging dahilan para take hold, okay? In 1 Timothy chapter 3 verse number 10, in speaking about deacons, Paul used the phrase being found blameless. This being implied is demonstrated by a track record of behavior. Kailangan yung kanyang track record, okay? Yung track record niya ay yung tinatawag nating blameless o walang anumang bagay na maipipoint sa kanya. So, baka ma-misunderstand nyo ako, no? Hindi ibig sabihin nito na yung mga tao na mamamatay tao o bading nung hindi pa sa ligligtas, ganun sila. Tapos nung sila ay naligtas, okay, dahil bading sila dati o mamamatay tao sila, snatcher, hindi sila pwede magpastor. Hindi po yun ang sinasabi dito, no? So, ang context po dito ay yung ligtas na. Okay, yung ligtas na. Okay? So, hindi po yun. Marami pong mga bading noon, pastor na ngayon, mamamatay tao, snatcher, katulad ni Apostol Pablo. So, ang context natin dito, hindi yun, ano? Kundi yung ligtas na talaga, yung ligtas na. So, next is the husband of one wife. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Dapat ba ang pastor merong asawa? Siyempre, okay, mas maganda merong asawa. Pero, sa verse na ito, hindi sinasabi ni Apostol Pablo na dapat pag pastor ka, may asawa. Kasi, ang meaning ng verse na ito, the husband of one wife, it means the idea here is a one-woman man. It is not a leader must be married. If so, then both Jesus and Paul could not spiritual leaders in our churches. Now, debatable si Apostle Paul kung meron siyang asawa o hindi. Pero, pag binasa natin clear sa Corinthians, sinasabi niya na hindi siya nag-asawa. So, hindi sinasabi dito na dapat ang pastor merong asawa. Ang idea ng verse na ito ay hindi siya womanizer. O sa madaling salita, hindi siya chick boy, no, Brother Jaynard? Hindi sa nagpapakita ng pag may asawa na siya, meron pa siyang desire sa ibang babae. Nor is the idea that leader could never remarry if his wife had passed away. Hindi din ibig sabihin nito na kapag ang asawa mo, pastor ka, pag ang asawa mo namatay, hindi ka na pwede mag-asawa. Hindi yun ang ibig sabihin nito. The idea is that love and affection and heart is given to one woman and that being is lawful and wedded wife. Yun po ang idea nun. Isa lang dapat ang asawa niya. Pangalawang reason kung bakit sinabi na Apostle Pablo, kasi nga doon sa Ephesus, alam natin, okay? Sa culture nila, mga taga-Epeso, mula noon pa man, para mapigil yung parang sa mga Muslim, no, yung maraming asawa. So, sinasabi na Apostle Pablo, husband of one wife. Pero ang hindi ibig sabihin nito na bawal magpastor yung mga walang asawa. Though may mga advantage, cons, and pros and cons kapag may asawa ka o wala kang asawa. Pero kung gagamitin natin verse na ito, na dapat meron kang asawa pag magpastor ka, ay hindi po tamang verse to na gamitin. Next slide next slide about this husband of one wife. This means that the biblical leader is not a playboy, an adulterer, flirt, and does not show romantic or sexual interest in other women, including the depiction or images of women in pornography. Now, meron tayong siguro, may mga kilala tayo na nakagawa ng gantong kasalanan pero nagpapastor pa rin sila. So, ano masasabi natin sa kanila? Ano yun? Pananagutan po nila yun sa Panginoon. But, ang atin dito, ipinag-aaralan natin kung ano sinasabi ni Apostle Paul. So, next is vigilant. Ang ibig sabihin lang yan ay yung maging, tawag dito, nawala na naman yung isa kong slide. Vigilant. tumalon ka agad tayo sa pagiging sober. So, vigilant, yung tinatawag nating patient. Sober, this describe the person who is able to think clearly and with clarity. They are not constantly joking but know how to deal with serious subjects in serious way. So, mapanuri, clear, at merong clarity sa kanyang personality. So, sabi ni Warren Wiersbe, again, na-quote na natin siya, no? Kasi isa to sa mga favorite kong commentator. Sabi niya, this does not mean he has no sense of humor. Hindi naman ibig sabihin nito na ang pastor hindi dapat magpatawa. Okay? Hindi yun ang ibig sabihin nito. Yung sober, yung clear and clarity, dapat yung kanyang personality. Hindi siya pwedeng mag-joke. Hindi po yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Or that he is always solemn and somber. Alam mo yung talagang pagtinignan, dapat talagang sumisilaw. Hindi yun ang ibig sabihin nito. Rather, it suggests that he knows the value of things and does not cheapen the ministry of the gospel message by foolish behavior. Alam mo yung, ang ibig sabihin ng sober in this verse, alam mo kung saan ka dapat lulugar. Yun po yun. Alam mo kung saan ka dapat lulugar. Matino yung pag-iisip mo. At hindi magiging dahilan, yung personality mo, hindi magiging dahilan para maikahiya yung ating Diyos, para ma-cheapen yung gospel. Okay? So, next is good behavior. Ano ibig sabihin naman ng good behavior? The idea is orderly. It is the same word translated modest in, nagregala natin last time, 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse number 9. So, sa isang nais din mag-bishop, mag-pastor, so, isa din to sa sinasabi ng Panginoon, orderly, na kailangan niyang i-desire. Next is given to hospitality. Ito naman mga Pinoy, mahilig okay tayo dito. They are willing and able to open up their home to both friends and stranger. Pag binasa natin yung sulat ni John sa epistles, okay? 'Di ba? Sinasabi niya may mga tao siyang binabanggit doon na itong kapatid na to hindi pinapapasok o hindi ini-entertain yung mga kapatiran. Okay. So, ang mga Hudyo, kilala sila sa pagiging hospitable. Okay? They are willing and able to open their home to both friends and strangers. Kasi nga, nung panahon nila, katulad ni Apostle Paul, yung mga missionary journey, di ba? Si Apostle Paul, hindi siya pinatuloy ng isang kapatid. So, isa to sa mga katangian na dapat i-desire natin. So, sa atin naman, tayo ng mga Pinoy, mga hospitable tayo. Pero sa panahon ngayon, yung pagiging hospitable ay nasa lugar din. Next is up to teach. Means, or able to teach. This means they are skilled enough in the Bible to teach either in a public or one-on-one setting. So, ito nga mga kapatid, yung up to teach. Meron ako narinig na teacher ko, sabi niya, na yung mga bingot daw, hindi daw pwede magpastor yun. So, hindi ako naniniwala doon. No? As long as naiintindihan ka ng tao, when we say up to teach here, you know what? You know the doctrine. Okay? Alam mo yung gospel and you know how to teach it. Okay? Hindi to nakabound sa physical kapag bingot ka, bawal ka magturo kasi hindi ka up to teach. Now, ang ibig sabihin nito ay yung you are able to teach the Bible, the doctrine, okay? The full counsel of God. As long as na naiintindihan ka ng tao. So, hindi din tayo pwede dito sa yung pilosopong sagot na, paano yung mga pipi? Pwede ba sila magpasto? So, syempre, hindi na yun up to teach. Okay? Hindi sila makapagsalita eh. But, the idea here is you are skilled enough. Kaya nga tayo dito sa Bible School, inuhubog natin kayo sa doktrina, sa mga pananampalataya, at sa practice po natin. So, next verse, okay? Not given to wine. It means the idea is not being addicted to wine or intoxicating drink. Now, kung gusto nyo ng exhaustive study about wine, I will give you, so from Old Testament hanggang New Testament, bakit si Apostle Paul, pag-aaralan natin, nirecommend niya na uminom si Timothy ng wine. So, we will study that also in the book of Timothy. So, basta dito, hindi dapat lasenggo. Okay, alam natin na galit ang Diyos sa mga lasenggo. Next is, so no striker. Ayan lang, yun yung hindi pala away. Siyempre, ang hirap naman, pastor ka, tas pala away ka. Not greedily of full to lucre. Ito yung not greedy for money. Sakim sa pera. So, itong picture na to, si Kenneth Copeland, meron siyang jet, no? Isa sa mga sikat na prosperity gospel. So, yan, yung jet niya. Alam natin na, ayan yung tinatawag na filter looker. Alam naman natin mga false prophet to, no? May mga jet, no? Sobrang yayaman ng mga pastor na yan. Pinakamayaman sa mga, isa sa pinakamayaman na pastor sa buong mundo. Next is patient, not brawler, not covetous. So, patient, it means the kind of man who takes Jesus as his example. Alam mo kung saan mo ililugar din yung galit mo. Not a brawler or quarrelsome, the kind of person who is not always fighting over something or other. Kaya nga, kapag ang isang tao ay gusto magpastor, kailangan niyang i-build yung kanyang patience. Not covetous. Ito naman, ano pinagkaiba nung greedy of filthy lucre, okay, sakim sa pera, tsaka ng covetous? Pag sinabi natin covetous, this is a more encompassing thought than merely greedy for money. The covetous man is never satisfied with anything, always demanding something more different. A man who is constantly dissatisfied is not fit for leadership among God's people. Siyempre, kaya kita natin yung mga pastor natin, mga Baptist pastor, mga same faith pastor, talaga makikita mo sa buhay nila, matitiisin sila. Then, kontento sila kung anong meron sila, kung anong pinoprovide ng Panginoon. Always Jehovah Jireh, God is providing. They were satisfied kung anong meron sila. Next is, in verse number 4, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. Dapat mahusay siyang mamahala sa sariling pamilya ay ginagalang at sinusunod ng kanyang mga anak. The godly leader demonstrates his leadership ability first in his own home. Paul recognized that it is in the home where our Christianity is first demonstrated. Ito nga yung ito yung isa sa pinakamahirap bilang isang Kristiyano. Maipakita dapat yung pagiging Kristiyano mo una sa bahay nyo. Pangalawa, secondary na lang yung work or yung eskwelahan mo kung saan man yung pinupuntahan mo. Ngayon, parang ganito lang yan mga kapatid. Kung meron kang 5 anak, ito saan narinig ko dati sa professor ko, meron kang 5 anak at ang isa doon ay rebelde. Ibig sabihin, alam niya, rebelde yung talagang that is manageable. 3, manageable. 2, okay? 3, manageable. Pero sa lahat ng anak mo, lahat rebelde. Ibig sabihin, ikaw pastor ka, pero yung anak mo hindi mga nagsisimba. 5 anak mo, pero kahit isa wala nagsisimba. Kahit na hindi ibig sabihin dito yung, example ko lang to, hindi ibig sabihin dito yung yung dapat nagpastor o yung dapat kumakanta sa church. Kahit yung nagsisimba na lang, kahit walang papel sa ministry, yung nagsisimba, faithful na nagsisimba. Kung 5 anak mo, at kahit isa doon, okay, walang sumusunod sa yapak mo, lahat rebelde, hindi mo napapasunod, so there is something wrong. There is something wrong. Kaya mahirap po ang maiintindihan natin 1, 2, 3, no? Na may mga rebelde po talagang mga anak. So verse number 6, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride he fall into condemnation of the devil. Sa Tagalog, kailangan siya'y matagal ng mananampalataya sapagkat kung hindi, baka siya maging palalo at mapahamak na gaya ng diablo. Ano ibig sabihin natin ng novice? Okay? Pag sinabi natin novice, bago po. Okay? Bago pa lang. Bagong convert. New convert should not give in leadership too quickly. Eto nga, kapag isang bagong ligtas, hindi pa malago, binigyan mo ng leadership sa church, iniisip niya, magaling kasi ako kahit hindi pa ako marami sa Biblia, binigyan na ako ng leadership. Okay? Ito, totoo ang Biblia. Nagiging palalo siya o nagiging mayabang, nagiging mataas ang tingin sa sarili. The leader, lalo na sa pagpapastor, no? So, ang pastor, yan? Ang daming dapat pagdaanan. The leader should be well past the novice stage in their spiritual development. When we say novice, newly planted. When someone first come to Jesus, it isn't good to put them into a place of leadership until they have been allowed to grow long enough to put down some deep roots. Yung kailangan, if you're desiring a office of a bishop, position of a pastor, yung meron kang malalim, yung spiritually grown. Last verse from this section, a list of qualifications for leaders in the church. Moreover, he must have a good report dapat merong magandang patotoo, may testimony of them which are without, sa kanila ng mga hindi mananampalataya, lest you fall into reproach and the snare of the devil. So, isa sa mga dapat i-desire or yung merong tinatawag na godly character, a good testimony or a good report, kahit sa mismong mga hindi mananampalataya. This characteristic must be evident to all, even unbelievers to see. The potential leader must be a good Christian outside the walls of the church. Yung pag nakita ka ng tao, kagalang-galang ka, o wala silang bagay, again, blameless, wala silang bagay na maibabato sa'yo para masira ka. So, yun yung tinatawag nating qualification leaders in the church. I know you have a lot of question before I entertain yung mga question natin. So, punta tayo sa next. So, qualification of a bishop from verse number 1 to verse number 7. Punta tayo sa next section. Next section is qualification for deacons. Ngayon, dito sa Pilipinas, no, lalo sa mga maliliit na churches, hindi tayo mahilig sa mga deacons. Kasi nga, pag pinag-aralan natin yung Acts chapter 6, okay, kung bakit nagkaroon ng deacons. Kasi nga, yung mga apostol, hindi nila pwedeng iwanan yung pangangaral ng salita ng Diyos. Yung mga widows, hindi na sila mapaglingkuran, hindi na sila maserve. Kasi pinocommand din ng Biblia na dapat sa church, okay, ni Apostle Paul, pinaliwanag yan sa epistles, na dapat kinikare sila yung mga widows. Okay? So I recommend merong sa Amazon yung libro ni Paul Chappell, Baptist Deacons, and then Robert Naylor, meron po niyan, The Baptist Deacons. So meron ding qualifications sa mga deacons. Basahin natin. Likewise, from verse 8 to verse 12, likewise must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given too much wine, not greedy of filthy liquor, holding the mystery of the faith in a pure conscience. And let this also first be proved, and then let them use the office of a deacon, being found blameless. Even so must their wives be grave, not slanderers, sober, faithful in all things. Let the deacons be the husband of one wife, ruling their children and their own house well. So, yung iba na ulit lang. So, hindi na natin papaliwanag. Katulad ng isang bishop. Pero may mga sinabi dito na hindi sinabi sa bishop, na hindi sinabi sa pastor. So, ano yun? So, likewise, must the deacons be... an example of the appointment of deacons is in Acts chapter 6. Yun nga yun. Where the apostles saw the need to distribute the daily assistance to the widows among the church, yet did not have the time to distribute the aid themselves. They choose men to act essentially as deacons in the church. So, 8 men. So, imaginein mo kung bakit naging 8 yon, yung congregation nun. Sobrang dami yung tao pero naging 8 lang. Naging 8 yung deacons. May ibang mga churches, ang congregation 50 pero ang deacons 8. Okay? So, parang ang nangyayari na lang, depende pa rin to sa leading ng Holy Spirit sa pastor. Parang nangyayari na lang for the sake na may masabing deacon, okay? Kahit wala naman silang function sa church, meron lang may masabing deacon, hindi naman talaga sila nagsaserve ng tables or nagsaserve ng church dahil, minsan pa yung, dahil mga college degree level. No, hindi sinasabi, again dito na dapat college degree level, okay? Yung mga magdidikon. Deacon must be, their qualification are much the same as those for bishop. It is a mistake to see one office as one more prestigious than the other. Though bishop have more responsibility before God, each is more a matter of calling than status. Again, this is also a calling. Okay? I believe na pag ikaw ay meron calling, bibigyan ka rin ni Lord ng desire. And your desire, you need to work it out. Meron naman mga tao, meron silang desire pero wala silang calling. Yung iba, may calling daw sila pero wala silang desire. Hindi po pwede yun. Okay? Kung meron kang calling to be a pastor or to have a position in the church, dapat meron kang desire. So kasi nungalingan yung, ay meron akong calling magpastor. O mag-Bible school ka. Ay, ayoko. Mag-aral ka sa salita ng Diyos. Ayoko. O lumalim ka sa salita ng Diyos. Ayoko. Okay? O ayusin mo yung ugali mo, maging ganito ka. Ay, ayoko. So, hindi po yun sinasabi. Kaya nga sinasabi dito ni Apostle Pablo, kay Timothy, ang pagpili ng bishop, kung sino magde-desire, hindi yung randomly, yung bubunutin na lang, o dahil talentado sila, o dahil mayaman sila. Hindi po. It is a matter of calling and a desire. So, sometimes you has a desire. So, isa po kasi ito sa ginawan ko ng research sa master study, yung he desired a good work. Minsan, magsisimula sa desire, then along the way, mararamdaman mo o makikita mo yung panawagan sa'yo ng Panginoon. Parang ganito yan. pag magba-Bible school ka ba, dapat magpapastor ka? Diba? Isa yun sa mga tanong dati na ini-entertain. Ngayon, ang sabi ni Preacher Rapi, ni Kuya Rap sa church, so, yung iba, desire na talaga nila magpastor bago sila magpumunta ng Bible school. O yung iba naman, nag-Bible school sila, then along the way, tinalog sila na magpastor. So, parehas din maganda. So, deacons. Alam mo lang ibig sabihin ng grave. Pag sinabi natin grave, hindi yung libingan. It means here reverent o yung kagalang-galang, showing proper respect towards both God and man. Kaya nga ito, respect begat respect. So, that's true naman. Not double tongue, it means a man who speak the truth the first time with no intent to deceive. Maraming mga tao, meron silang sinasabi, pero alam mo yung sinasabi nila, sa unang nilang sabi, alam mo na meron silang hidden agenda o meron silang panlolokong gagawin. So, dapat po, ang isang merong position sa church or deacon in this chapter ay hindi double tongue. Hindi yung merong ibang intent para mangdaya. So, yung sinearch ko sa Google, yung double tongue, meron pala mga tao, dalawa dila, no? Yung iba, hati. So, segue lang. Yung iba magkapatong. Lupit. So, segue lang yun, commercial lang. So, verse number 9, holding the mystery of the faith in a pure conscience. It means those who can adhere to proper doctrine out of sincere conviction. Siyempre, meron dapat doktrinang pinangahawakan. Alam niya ang doktrina. And he can teach. Next, and let this also first be proved. Then let them use the office of a deacon, being found blameless. Okay? Sa Tagalog, kailangan subukan muna sila. At kung mapunayan sila yung karapat-dapat, saka sila gawing mga tagapaglingkod. No, I don't know sa ibang mga church kung paano ginagawa nila sa choose ng deacons. Yung iba botohan, kaya yung tao yung pumipili. Pero yung context dito kasi sa 1 Timothy chapter 3, si Apostle Pablo, sinasabi niya kay Timothy, ito yung mga qualifications. It's all about teaching Timothy, Pastor Timothy, kung sino yung mga dapat nasa positions. Kasi ganito, pag ang congregation favored, may isa sa congregation, merong isang tao na favor sila o meron silang pinapaboran, kahit hindi naman nila dinidesire yung gantong mga qualifications. Pero dahil gusto sila ng tao, pwedeng mapunta sila sa position. So, do you get what I mean? So, kaya meron ding cons or disadvantage kapag ang tao lang ang pumipili ng magiging deacon o ng magiging leader sa isang simbahan. So, this is one of the responsibility of a bishop, of a pastor, to choose, okay, sa mga tao. Kasi kung though hindi naman natin sinasabi dito na walang say yung mga kapatiran, hindi po yun ang sinasabi ni Apostle Pablo. So, a man demonstrates his fitness for office in the church by his conduct. Deacons and bishops are more recognized than appointed. So, recognized by God and also recognized sa mga, magre-reflect din sa mga tao. Pero again, minsan nga, ang mga believer, ang mga Kristiyano na, they choose yung mga hindi karapat-dapat. Next, well purchased to themselves a good degree. God remembers their faithful service even in which some would consider menial. So, when we say well purchased to themselves a good degree, makikita ng mga tao, magre-reflect if you desire this, okay? Kung talagang paninindigan nila yung pagiging deacon, so sa ating mga Pilgrim Bible Baptist, so hindi tayo practice na nag-choose tayo ng mga deacons, no? Kasi nga, ang katwiran nga natin, 50 nga ng congregation was, mamimili ka pa ng 8 deacons, for what? So, wala din naman function sa church. Pero, yung 8 deacons, imagine yung ratio ng dami ng tao noon, nilang mga apostol. So, first section is qualification of a bishop from verse 1 to verse number 7. Next is, second section is qualification for deacons. Now, sa pangatong section at malapit na tayo matapos, the mystery of godliness. From verse 14 to 16. Kulang ako ng nasulat na, no? So, 14 to 16. The mystery of godliness. Let's read. These things write I unto thee, hoping to come unto thee shortly. But if I tarry long, that thou mayest know how to behave thyself in the house of God, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and the ground of truth. Na to, magandang discussion to. So, but these things write I unto thee, hoping to come unto thee shortly. Paul desired to speak these things to Timothy personally, but knowing he might not able to come as soon as he wishes, Paul made certain that he said it in a letter. Ito yung nais iparating. Paul's purpose for writing was to give Timothy as a leader a practical information on how to run things in Ephesian church. It says, but if I tarry long, kung ako'y matatagalan, that thou mayest know. So this is his reason